This evening, over $500 million contract signed for the reconstruction of the North Ruimveldt Secondary School. Guyana Police Force recovers several stolen cars and parts at Soesdyke. Armed bandits storm an industry supermarket. In the region, Barbados denies Prime Minister Mottley was involved in a plane incident in Guyana, and internationally, South African unions go on protest against high cost of living. Welcome to another broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Just over 1 year after a main section of the North Ruimveldt Secondary School went up in flames, the sod has been turned for the reconstruction of a brand new building. A contract to the tune of $566.9 million was signed for the reconstruction of the learning institution on Wednesday. The school was severely damaged by a fire of unknown origin in June 2021. In the blaze, the school's IT room, the upper staff room and library, and the technical drawing and architect room were all destroyed. During the sod turning ceremony, Minister of Education Priya Manichan said that every time a school is destroyed, there is a domino effect of actions that have an adverse effect on learning. She said that ordinarily 150 students are placed at the secondary school every year following the National Grade 6 assessment, but due to the classrooms being destroyed, the placement total was reduced to approximately 50 students. The new building will have 3 stories, which will be able to accommodate 450 students. It will be furnished with new science laboratories, information technology labs, new and remodeled classrooms, a staff room, a sanitary block, and a modern exterior. The projected period for the completion of construction is 14 months. Officers of the Guyana Police Force recovered several stolen cars on the east bank of the Marara. Esther Sobers has more details.
Ranks of the Guyana Police Force were able to crack a carjacking ring and recover several stolen cars while investigating a case of a robbery on the arms committed on 48-year-old Roxanne Burton Gardens man of his motor car HD 514 and several other articles at Duki Sand Road, Soesdyke, East Bank, Darara on Tuesday, August 23rd. The ranks were able to recover the said motor car along several of the stolen vehicles and a 9mm pistol. According to a police report, around 9 p.m. on Wednesday, the ranks, acting on information received, went to the home of a 26-year-old suspect at Kurukuru, Soesdyke Linden Highway. A search was carried out on the premises and a 9mm pistol along with several car lights and bumpers were discovered. The 26-year-old suspect subsequently took the ranks to a location in St. Cuthbert's Mission where motorcar HD 512 along with another vehicle PSS 1871 reported stolen sometime between August 13th to the 14th, 2022 from Supply Public Road East Bank, Darara was recovered. However, the engine along with the front suspension of the parts were missing. While the ranks were exiting St. Cuthbert's Mission, 2 men, a 30-year-old Kurukuru and a 29-year-old Linden man who were driving along the main road were stopped and questioned and claimed that they were going to St. Cuthbert's Mission. They were both also arrested and taken into custody while the car was lodged. A further search on a valley at Long Creek unearthed another 5 motor cars. Those cars were fully stripped of their parts. Further investigations are ongoing. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Some 250 families between Newtonsville and Unity were allocated house lots at Hope, East Coast and Marara on Wednesday, August 24th. The elated families met with the Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell, and a team at the Hope Secondary School where the allocation of the lands were done. Minister Crowell stated that government would ensure it fulfills its commitment to serve the people. He assured residents that each community's outstanding and all applications would be addressed. The allocation forms part of the government's promise to allocate at least 50,000 house lots in this term in office. To date, close to 4,750 house lots have been allocated on the East Coast alone. Hope has now joined the list with Le Bon Intention, Monrepo, among other areas. Stick around after the break. Armed bandits storm industry supermarket and government to secure monkeypox vaccine by the end of September.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Clearance has a crazy sale on Friday, August 26th, where women get up to half off. Jeans, ladies' dresses, tops, working shoes as low as $3,500, and men get from 15 to 50% off. Men's shirts, Dockers trousers, polos, sneakers, shorts, men's dress shoes, and suits. And don't forget, 10% off backpacks. So remember, the sale is Friday, August 26th. Clearance, always keeping you in style. Who could stop Clearance?
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Ruimveldt or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Monkeypox vaccines are expected to be in Guyana by the end of September. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said the government is making significant efforts through the Pan American Health Organization to ensure Guyana receives a portion of the monkeypox vaccine, although the supply of the vaccine is limited worldwide.
The supply of these vaccines are very, very limited, and it's a very scarce commodity right now in the world. But nevertheless, we are trying to get some doses into Guyana for persons who might be exposed.
The minister said there are no treatments specifically for monkeypox infections. However, monkeypox and smallpox viruses are genetically similar, which means that antiviral drugs and vaccines developed to protect against smallpox may be used to prevent and treat monkeypox infections.
If the patient has some signs or symptoms, we will be treating that patient for those signs or symptoms. There are very few medications that are currently available to treat the virus per se. So right now they're working on 3 different antiretroviral. They're in limited supplies in the United States, and they are being used under emergency use authorization. So the medications that are currently used to suppress the virus is not readily available.
Minister Anthony went on to explain how persons could become infected with the monkeypox virus and how they could stay clear of the virus.
In terms of the human-to-human contact, that can be done in two ways. What we might call a direct contact, meaning that if you are in close proximity with someone who's been infected, then you can get the virus. If somebody who is infected, if you're touching the lesions, cleaning the lesions, not using protective gear, then you can get infected. So that's direct contact. And then you have indirect contact, because they have found that monkeypox can be on surfaces. So if somebody is who has monkeypox in a ward, for example, they're infected, and you go and you don't have on gloves and you touch those surfaces, the chances are you can come in contact with the virus.
Studies have shown that with most persons who are infected, the effects start to wear off within 14 to 21 days. However, persons can still develop complications because of secondary bacterial infections. While having monkeypox, the person may have other bacterial invasions of the already infected areas, resulting in an additional disease. Minister Anthony stressed the need for Guyanese to take the necessary precautions to avoid contracting the virus. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 toll-free hotline number has been extended to facilitate inquiries surrounding the monkeypox virus. The Guyana Police Force is looking into the robbery of a supermarket on Demerara's East Coast by gunmen wearing masks. More from Esther Sobers.
4 gunmen wearing skull masks allegedly robbed the Wangli supermarket in Industry on the east coast of Demerara of an undisclosed sum of money on Wednesday, the 24th of August, 2022. Inquiries disclosed around 8 p.m. the 28-year-old Chinese national shop owner was about to close her business when she was confronted by 4 males, all wearing skull hats and face masks and all armed with handguns on motorcycle registration number unknown. The 2 pillion riders rushed into the supermarket, pointing their handguns at the victim and started to ransack the cashier area. A male customer was challenged by one of the suspects when he approached the store to make a purchase at a time in order to hand over his possessions by the suspect, who was brandishing a handgun. The suspect fired 2 shots in the man's direction as he fled in a hurry after becoming terrified for his life and making a U-turn into a fence. The 2 pillion riders then exited the supermarket with an undisclosed sum of cash, making good their escape on the motorcycles heading east along the street towards Oval Access Road. No one was injured and further inquiries are in progress. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Ukraine marks Independence Day and 6 months since Russia's invasion, and the South African unions go on protest against high cost of living.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Ruimveldt or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Clearance has a crazy sale on Friday, August 26th, where women get up to half off. Jeans, ladies' dresses, tops, working shoes as low as $3,500, and men get from 15 to 50% off. Men's shirts, Dockers trousers, polos, sneakers, shorts, men's dress shoes, and suits. And don't forget, 10% off backpacks. So remember, the sale is Friday, August 26th. Clearance, always keeping you in style. Who could stop Clearance?
Welcome back. Now we'll take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. On Wednesday, the Barbados government denied that Prime Minister Mia Mottley was aboard the plane in Guyana that was involved in an incident at the Eugene F. Correa Ogle International Airport on Sunday. According to a statement published by the Barbados government, the Prime Minister's office wishes to make it perfectly plain to Barbadians that Prime Minister Mia Mottley was never on a plane that was involved in an incident during her recent abroad trip. Several news sources in local and regional media sites stated that Prime Minister Mia Mottley and President Dr. Irfaan Ali were aboard a Guyana Defense Force Skyvan on its way back from Bandits to Brazil when it veered off the taxiway after landing, necessitating an emergency reaction. However, Prime Minister Mottley noted that it is standard for emergency vehicles such as fire personnel and official vehicles transporting the President and his guests to meet the plane on the tarmac. It has been 31 years since Ukraine gained independence from the Soviet Union. It has also been 6 months since the first Russian tank rolled into Ukraine to start Moscow's full-scale invasion. Teresa Bo has more from Kyiv, Ukraine.
Father and son walking to pay tribute to those killed in the war. Both of them were injured in the fight against Russia. Nazar Cherevinchenko says he's getting ready to go back to the front once he has recovered.
This is not a celebration. This is memory. Celebration will be after the victory, when everyone returns home, alive and fallen. We have many losses now.
It's Independence Day in Ukraine, but there are no celebrations this year because of the war. It may have been 31 years of independence from Soviet rule, but the fight for freedom, people say, is more alive than ever.
In this past 6 months, thousands of people have been killed and injured. Millions have been displaced. This is a memorial site to remember those who have been killed in this conflict. There's also this book that you can see here where people can come and write their own personal story of loss.
They have been coming here steadily all day, remembering those they have lost.
It's a big concern because
Achille Deprez says the war has caused extensive damage, especially in southern and eastern Ukraine, where the fighting is ongoing.
We've seen all around Ukraine, as a result of this conflict, a tremendous amount of suffering, of physical suffering, of also mental suffering, a population that is traumatized. We've seen, critical infrastructure damaged or destroyed, including water infrastructure, also health facilities, also educational facilities. Some really basic goods are very hard to come by, including food, including water.
President Zelensky reaffirmed his call to recover the territories occupied by Russia. He walked through the center of Kyiv accompanied by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Hundreds of destroyed Russian tanks were put on display on the street, an open act of defiance to Russia. Zelensky had said Moscow was planning a series of cruel attacks on Independence Day.
The enemy thought we would greet them with flowers and champagne, but received wreaths and Molotov cocktails instead. They waited for an ovation, but got explosions. The occupier believed you could parade through the center of our capital. You can witness this parade today in Soesdyke Street. The proof that enemy equipment can only appear in the center of Kiev looking like this, burnt and destroyed.
On Wednesday, air raid sirens sounded all day across the country, a reminder of the imminent threat. But people in Kyiv remain on the streets. Many say they've been afraid for too long. This year, the marking of independence has a different meaning. People say they're still fighting for it, and the only option they have against Russian aggression right now is to win the war. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Kyiv.
Millions of people in Hungary could be forced to heat their homes with firewood this winter. Gas prices have soared because of the war in Ukraine. Al Jazeera's Andrew Simmons reports.
Some find it hard to believe. What you see here looks set to be a main source of heat this winter all over Hungary. One pallet of firewood costs at least $250. That's more than some old people get in their monthly pensions. People like Peter and Emeshe Mavani, they can't find any timber yards that aren't sold out.
If we cannot buy wood because there will be no wood in the market, then maybe we would have to move away from here. And I don't know where and I don't know how. So it's a desperate situation, really.
The cost of living with double-digit inflation is already biting, and utility bill subsidies have been reduced, despite soaring energy prices. Many businesses are beginning to struggle, like this restaurant.
On gas and electricity, we pay 3 to 4 times more than before. I don't know how long we can keep this up. We can't raise our prices anymore.
Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who in March won a 4th term in office, is a friend of President Vladimir Putin. And Orban's buying more gas from Russia instead of less. For many years, Viktor Orban has been proud of his Russian gas, bought on special terms from Vladimir Putin, his long-term ally. But now he has to pay in rubles like everyone else, and there's a problem developing because of the cost of this gas. Viktor Orban's political future could be at stake. It isn't just about gas. Among the issues Orban faces is the EU withholding billions of dollars of funding because of his authoritarian policies.
He wanted to get the best of both worlds, both the Western money from the European Union and both funds, energy and support from the East, China, Russia, Turkey and so on. And he wanted to be in the middle of these two powers. But now that these powers are colliding basically on the world stage, this strategy is getting less and less tenable.
Orban needs to be wary of public reaction. These are environmentalists protesting against plans to relax logging restrictions if the country runs out of firewood. But if people can't afford to keep warm this winter, there could be a risk of general anti-government protests. Peter Mavani is already struggling. He suffers from cancer, and one thing is certain, the old and vulnerable will be the first to suffer this winter. Andrew Simmons, Al Jazeera, Budapest.
And finally, thousands of South Africans have walked off the job to protest against the rising cost of living. They want the government to intervene as fuel, electricity and food prices soar. Al Jazeera's Famida Miller reports.
Runaway inflation, hundreds of thousands of jobs lost, and a sharp increase in the cost of living have brought thousands of South Africans onto the streets. They want the government to address a number of issues, from pay rises to a stable electricity supply.
In South Africa, things are not easy for us. Seriously, they're not easy. Hear our cry. Hear our cry, please. We are here. We are supposed to be teaching, but we are not teaching. We are here because things are they're not good for us.
The poorly performing economy has been worsened by the knock-on effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, and inflation is at a 13-year high.
The way forward is tapping into this anger that's definitely developing over prices, over pay, and for poorer people, over food. I work with a group called the Community Organising Working Group, which operates mainly in informal settlements. And the demand that they've come with here is simply to say food for all. Now, can you imagine that? How desperate that things are getting in South Africa?
Just yesterday, we have received another stat that speaks to unemployment rate in South Africa, which it mainly affects the youth. So hence we are here today. We want to hit the call to the government to say, can they consider relooking into into these things of petrol hikes, the ratio of employment.
While the government has implemented an unemployment grant at $20 a month, it's simply not enough. And more than a third of the population is unemployed. Organisers had hoped for a nationwide shutdown to bring the economy to a halt. While a few thousand have come out to the streets, many others haven't.
Come on! Away! Two!
However, it would be difficult for the government to disregard union demands. The governing African National Congress is part of an alliance with the Congress of South African Trade Unions, one of the biggest workers' federations. Given the recent waning of support for the party, it can't afford to ignore workers' calls. Famida Miller, Al Jazeera, Pretoria.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here is your 3-day forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. Tune in on Friday at 5:30 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.